Welcome back to Meet the Coach. Again, I'm Pat Curran, one of the co-founders here at our coaching network. Today, we've got Coach Arthur Ray. He is a O-line coach. He's the owner of the O-line Lab. He did a great talk with us, almost a year and a half ago. Then you did a great group chat right before this season started. So you've got a couple of different hours if people want to go on and watch those. But appreciate you jumping on with me today. Let's start and just kind of talk us through. You're just about to tell me your journey getting into coaching after playing whatnot, but talk to us about that. Like, how did you get into coaching ball and to where you are today?
Well, it's crazy, man. I was always the guy that said I'd never coach. So it's funny that this
Why?
is right. Now, when I was a player, you didn't look at coaching as the next opposite route. I was so consumed with just being a player and enjoying that aspect of it. I didn't think that I'd really want to coach. Coach Rochard, the tight ends coach for New Orleans Saints, he told me at 18, he said, "You're gonna make a great coach." I'm like, what? You know what I mean? Yeah, that's something that I wasn't even thinking about then. I couldn't even grasp it, but it's definitely my passion, man. Love it. I can't see myself doing anything else. I won't be doing anything else, to be honest. But man, I started off in 2016 just training linemen in Chicago. And a high school coach, Mike Bain, he was the head coach for De La Salle High School in Chicago at the time. I was trained his son like 2 or 3 times, and he just was like, "Hey, man, come be my line coach." And I was like, "Nah, I'm good." I like training guys one-on-one, hands-on, being able to work with them on the intricate things and the things that I didn't know when I was 16, 17. That was my biggest deal when I started training O-line, especially in Chicago. Nobody had started doing that. Okay. So I turned him down probably 2 or 3 times. And then, he told me to come out there and just, to see. And I said, "You know what, I'll go." My first day of practice, man, ran Indy and fell in love with it. It was good to get back into that space, get back into the challenge of being a coach, of using everything that I had learned and all the great coaches that have been good to me and pouring it into the young guys, man, and watching them have success. That just, it did something to me. It almost felt like me out there balling still. So that's when I knew that, this was my new love.
That's cool. I like you, I didn't know I was going to get into coaching. I never thought about it. I got a call one day from, at the time, my sister's boyfriend, who's now husband of like 10 years, but called me and was like, "Hey, you want to coach? We got a corners position open." And he's like, "We had a guy, but he's not very good. And we're, we want you to come coach." They didn't actually get rid of him, but they kind of like phased him out. This is Oberlin College, 07. Right. And I was down in Florida doing an internship, and I literally never thought about coaching. I was like, "Well, hell, how much does it pay?" And he was like, "0." And I was like, "All right, I'll make it work." So I came back and I moved in with my dad, who was like 30 minutes away from there. And I worked at a bar overnight, or like into the night to like 2 a.m. And then I'd go to practice and do all that. So it's funny how like when you don't think it's going to come, like a lot of guys have that vision of like, I want to be a coach. But when you don't, you get into it, it's kind of a cool deal. So you got in, you started coaching there, then you go to Northwood.
No, before I went to Northwood, I coached 1 season at De La Salle. Then I became a head coach at a high school, Curie High School, in the CPS on the southwest side of Chicago. Did that for a year. Loved that, man. Loved having the opportunity to take over my own program and then really have control over, just about, everything in terms of the program and getting those guys looked at, especially because that's what it was about. All of my friends I played at Mount Carmel High School. It was a Catholic school in the city, but I grew up on the south side. I'm about down the street from Morgan Park High School. That's the closest high school to me. Okay. And that's where I would have went if I didn't go to Carmel. But all of my guys that played in the CPS, I great athletes all the time. So the challenge of coaching in the city and, all of the inner city stigma that comes with those kids and all that stuff. Some guys shy away from that. I didn't. I took it as a challenge, and I took it as, I grew up in those same neighborhoods those guys did. And I've been a lot of places. Football's taken me all over the world. So why not pour back into it? Coached there for a year, was successful. Sent a lot of kids to school, man, during that year. Had a lot of college coaches come visit, just created a lot of hope. And we changed lives that year. Me and my staff. That was a tough year for me coaching. I had to learn. You know, I had to learn. I learned a lot about how to coach and how to, you know, have myself in order. Then I learned how much the head man doesn't really put himself involved with football stuff once you get that title. Because I was a dean of students too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different, man. It's different. I was dean of students too, and you know, so that dynamic and trying to oversee everything and picking a staff of guys I trust. You know, I was blessed, man. I had some guys, Coach H and Coach Marcus Reed. You know, they're coaching with each other now at Dyett High School in the city. You know, those guys, they held me down that year.
That's cool. So what do you think was the biggest, like you said, like you learned some things. What was one of the bigger things you learned from not just being a position coach, but like you're running the deal? Like if you could go back to that time, what would you have done differently?
I would have told myself to calm down, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, calm down, man. You know, and then it's I think that I think your past success can become your biggest crutch if you let it. You know, I judge myself on my past success as a player. And, you know, so I judge myself highly as a coach. So I had high expectations, and I'm on the kids. And then, you know, and I just was too, I think that my first year at Curie, if I go back to it, I'd be more calm. I think I had to get my emotions in check. And what that was cool as a part of the maturation process for me. You know, I was 28. I was still young, fiery. You know, I had just finished playing a couple years prior, and I had seen football at a high level, so I know how it was supposed to look. But with the dynamics and the elements, you know, being an inner city kid in Chicago and growing up in that dynamic in the CPS where, you know, the resources aren't really there. You know, we had our guys, they walk the field, we picking up rocks, glass, stuff like that, all that stuff before practice. Then we go get to work. You know what I mean? It wasn't the ideal, perfect situation in terms of things like that. But like I said, that was a part of the challenge. I just think that you know, I would have been a lot more calmer and just would have opened myself up to ask for help. I tried to do it all myself. You know, that eventually hit me once I got to mid-season. But yeah, man, just me learning to delegate more of the options and trust the guys that I had hired. Well, see, that was part of the issue, man. Part of the issue, I had a list of 20 guys that I was going to bring there to coach. And then that list of 20 turned into 2 real quick. You know what I mean? Like,
was that by your choice or just like what you had to do and you had to like take some of the guys from last year's staff or whatever?
No, well, see, it was the stipends, the money. Sure. And then it was trying to get guys out there that's really, truly dedicated. I have a guy come out there 1 week, then he disappears the next week. I'm like, wow, this, you know, and that's bothering me because I love this. This is what I do, you know. So when I sign to do something, I put my all into it. So, you know, that process of finding the staff was huge, man. But I think, the biggest thing I tell myself, just stay calm, man. With the good and the bad, stay even. You know, just keep your emotions in order because the kids are watching you. You the head man now. You know, you don't have time to be in your feelings. You ain't got time to be whining and crying and groaning. You know what I mean? You ask for the spot. That's what I tell myself now. You know, I ask for spots. You ask for the responsibility. So, you know, you gotta take it head on like a man.
Yeah. So now you've been high school, coach Northwoods at Division II, go to Arkansas. You coach in the SEC. This past year, you're at Jacksonville. What do you think, you know, from a coaching perspective? Obviously the talent is vastly different, right?
Yeah.
Places, but like from a coaching perspective, what have you learned at each of those different places that makes you a better coach now?
Got you. Well, high school, I learned simplify everything. Okay. How to because if I'm teaching a combo block and I'm like A block versus a B block in scoop, you got to take this step, and I'm like, whoa. Yeah, okay. These guys don't know. I know what I'm talking about. They don't know what I'm talking about. How to speak in their language, how to relay exactly what I want as simple as possible. High school taught me that. Going to Northwood taught me how to motivate athletes where the NFL isn't exactly the goal. And that's a little different, right? Yeah. You know, I've always been a high level guy. You know, you don't think about that. I was a high level athlete in high school, obviously played at Michigan State, all of that stuff, you know, ended up going to mini camp with Miami Dolphins, different things. So the NFL was always my goal, but being around guys where, hey, they playing for the love of the game. They're playing because, they want to have a great college experience, learning how to find different ways to mentally motivate them and then to make them feel a part of a group. That Northwood made me a way better coach, and just fine tuning some of the things where I hang my hat on. And I'm like, this is the right way of doing this. This is how you're going to do this. This is how my coach taught me. And I'm like, no, it's wrong. It's not working. They're not getting it. So, not being arrogant in my way is the best way. Being open. I learned a lot at Northwood. I spent hours on hours, YouTube, paying subscriptions to watch O-line clinics. I'm picking and choosing from everybody. I'm hitting up coaches on Twitter. Hey, coach, let's talk ball. Hey, coach, let's talk ball. I mean, anybody, I'm the biggest learner. I mean, I'm still that way. I'm always trying to look to learn things. And that was the biggest thing that I got from Northwood. Arkansas was a blast, man. Arkansas, being down there with Coach Pittman and Cody Kennedy, man, two experts, two true technicians at the O-line position. Cody taught me how to take over a new situation because he got the job late, how to take over a new situation and get the line moving in the direction where you want them without being overbearing, without over-coaching. See, I think I did a lot of that when I was at Northwood. It didn't look exactly how I wanted, and I was so stuck on that. Like, the double teams aren't as tight as I want them. They're not getting that movement, the steps and the hands. And Cody taught me how to, get the guys moving to the right spot, get the guys moving on the same page, get the guys playing for each other. You'll have time to implement and fix those things and get it looking exactly how you want it as the off season gets here. You know what I mean? So just learning how to get these guys confident in what we're doing. Make sure they got all the answers to the tests. It was great for me being an analyst. I couldn't coach at practice, so I got a chance to behind the scenes understand defenses and what they're trying to do. Understand, the defense's game plans, how they trying to break us down, how they try to attack us and stop what we do well, and then eventually how to attack them. I think from a schematic standpoint, Arkansas was gold for me. Just how to attack different defenses, how to have answers when defenses want to do this, when we're doing this well. It was huge for me that way from schematic standpoint. Then the Jaguars, man, of course, the dream come true coaching at that level in the league. It's just the professionalism, man, coaching at that level. Ty Washington, Phil Rosher, two great O-line coaches, two great O-line minds. Having that room. One, I'm so used to being in a room of 20 O-linemen. And after that, I stayed with the Jaguars the entire preseason. After they done with the cuts, it's 9, 10, or maybe 11 O-linemen in there. It's a way smaller group. Crazy, so that I was, whoa, just watching that. And then just seeing how Coach feels his way of mind game / manipulation to get the most out of guys. And not manipulation in a bad way. It's a motivation tactic. It's a mind game tactic. How he challenges Cam Robinson to be the all-pro that I know he can be. You know what I mean? And that he talks about those are things that he wants. Guys like Juwan Taylor, just natural gifted athletes, amazing footwork. They just wake up and they got it. Fine-tuning those, just working with those guys at a high level and getting them to consistently play at that level that they want to each and every Sunday, man. It was great for me process-wise. I mean, I think that it actually showed me that I knew a lot more ball than I had thought, you know what I mean? Because I was down there, and after about the first week, I had gained those guys' trust. I'm sitting there, I'm talking to JT, fixing stuff in practice. We going over little intricate things with pass pro, little things I see, keys, how opponents gonna key them. We watching film on Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack and how to block those guys. And I'm like, okay, let's go. This was the challenge that I had been waiting for, that I had wanted. And, to have guys in the room with their great natural ability. And then, it's true profession, man. Like this ain't a game, it's their jobs, how they make money, it's how they live their life. And, so it was great to be back in that space. I truly enjoyed my time with the Jags.
Yeah, it's a totally different game, right? And you can't, like you said, you're talking about and that it's different. They're grown-ass men. Probably some of them are older than you.
Yeah, 100%. So it was more just instead of the dictating, this is what you need to do, it was, hey, big dog, you do that real well. Try to emphasize this.
Yeah.
Try to just throw that in your game. And then they do it, they try it, they like it. They, oh, all right, coach. Hey, I like that. What made you, then it's you gain their trust, man. At the end of the day, this is how these guys make money. So, if you're offering them things where they can sustain a longer NFL career, they definitely gonna listen. But I definitely enjoy my time with the Jags.
Yeah. Who do you think's been the best coach you've been around, and why?
Best coach I've been around?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. In my coaching career?
Doesn't have to be.
Okay. Best coach I've been around as a player, Dan Rochar. Meticulous. I mean, to the T. I mean, if your sock's a half-inch higher, he's like, you got to get your sock down. You know what I mean? He all about it. Hand placement, target, steps, footwork, what type of footwork. Like he breaks it down like an encyclopedia. He's the reason why I'm so detail-oriented from a player perspective. From a coach perspective, it got to be what I just left, Phil and Coach Todd with the Jaguars. They just, because the coaching is so different in the league. But it's the same. It's the teaching points are there, but you're not overbearing. It's, hey, do this. All right, why didn't that work? But then, like I said, just the way, the different ways of motivating different guys. I mean, you got the superstar stud left tackle Cam Robinson. Then you got a guy who's on his free agent contract, Juwan Taylor. Then you got the undrafted rookie. How to coach those guys different, how to tap into those guys mentally different to get the most out of them. That was just, those two guys sharp now. They got me on another level. I mean, some of those things, that's what that's the thing that I bring to the table with the O-line lab, is just that the different ways of motivating, and then just how to implement what the things that you want, and just to get it done, man. But those guys say Phil, Todd, and definitely Coach Rochar when I was a player.
Sure. So what with the O-line lab, what do you do? I know what you do, but I'm kind of asking, like, what are you doing in season with off season? I know you do like Zoom sessions and whatnot. And like, what, as you're teaching and coaching these guys, are they all high school and then college right now? As you've worked with, what do you teach and coaching, and how has that changed over the years from when you started it and whatever that was, 16, 17 versus now, where now you've got all this vast experience and super, super high level experience?
Got you. I think when I started, it was just solely knowledge and things that I learned as a player. It was from a player's lens. So I'm teaching it from experience. I'm like, hey man, when you out there and that 3 technique, you breathe it down your neck, you might not have time to do this. You might have to do this. Your coach is going to want you to do that. So you got to do this. So I was able to get guys little snippets and tweaks because we're playing out there. And then I had the luxury of playing all 5 positions throughout my career, from high school to college to the NFL. So, that changed vastly because I was a guard center when I was at Michigan State. Then when I transferred to Fort Lewis in Colorado, I played tackle primarily. For 2 years, played tackle. So I was out there on that island. So I understood the space, the different angles and different things like that it took. So I just looked at everything with experience. Now through the years, man, I'm on a different level. I'm able to, schematically, I'm way better, than I started in 2016. I hadn't coached. I mean, you know the scheme as a player, but as a coach, you know it. At the back of your hand. You can teach it. You can teach it in wordplay. Like I could draw a picture on the board with my words now. Back then, I couldn't do that. I'd have to, hey, give me that marker. This is what I mean. You know what I mean? So I think that being able to create different ways to realistic drills, realistic situations, put guys in positions or get them thinking about things that make offensive linemen uncomfortable and how to get confident in those positions. That's exactly the things I do. And then with the O-line lab, the in season we focus on virtual more than anything. We do Zoom sessions, which can be training, which can be recruiting consulting. I eval O-linemen all the time. This past couple of weeks, I've been on with coaches who are having schematic problems. Hey, we can't run outside zone that well. Hey, we this one technique is really struggling. If we can't, the down block isn't working. I think how I'm teaching pools is wrong. All O-line related questions.
Yep.
I help those guys out with over Zoom. some guys, they want to watch their film. So I sit there and watch their film with them, just give them my 2 cents on what I think they can improve. It's really in depth. It's more of a consultation style thing when in terms of the coaches, but the players, it's just them getting all of the juice. And of course, I got access to film and everything I had from the drills that we did down in Jacksonville to, the things I did all the way back in Northwood, all the way back in high school. All of that content that I had gathered throughout the years, I didn't realize how valuable it would be until now, now, which is why with the lab. And in the off season, it's going to be back to training, man, back to hands-on training. Of course, I'm going to be sitting here. I know I'll have some opportunities in the next couple of months to move on to college or back to the NFL, God willing, wherever the Lord places me. But, in the meantime, I'm going to be training linemen, be doing what I do. I'm an O-lineman to the core, talk that talk, walk that walk. You know how it go, man. So the off season is going to look a lot like camps, individualized training, group training. I know I'm gonna put together some lineman challenges. That's something that I implemented before I left. Gonna bring that back. We're gonna go invite some guys down to around the Midwest, have them come to Chicago, big lineman challenges. So I'll have some things in place. Just off season, it'll just be a lot more hands-on. In season, I'm more Zoom and hands-on.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you guys aren't gonna come do hard-ass trainings on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. It's funny too, because O-line, D-line, I was a skill guy, I was a DB in high school, DB receiver, college DB, college DB coach. And the stigma around like trainers and the dumbass shit we do as skill players and the train, there is some correlation, obviously, to some of the stuff, but like the O-line, D-line, you guys are actually doing more realistic type shit, at least typically, right?
Yeah.
It's fun to see. All right, last one, I'll let you get out on this one. One coach you've never worked with that you'd like to work with in the future.
One coach I've never worked with that I'd like to work with. Oh man, that's a good one. That's a good one. There's so many. A lot of guys on the O-line.
Sure.
A lot of guys on the O-line side.
Could be an O-line guy, could be a head guy that you'd want to work with, could be a guy where you'd be a head guy and you hire that person. Could be any of those.
Okay. I'm gonna give you 2 then, because a head coach for a head guy, I'd like to roll with Mel Tucker.
Sure.
I'd like to go get busy back in Spartan Nation with Mel Tucker. Go get back with that green and white. And him and Mike Tomlin with the Steelers. Now we played the Steelers in the preseason when I was with the Jags, and the Steelers travel. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen it. I'm like, man, they traveling like this, a playoff game. We have fans all in the team hotel. I'm like, this is nuts.
Funny,
but just being around that atmosphere with Mike Tomlin, Pittsburgh, that would be smooth, man. I'd like that opportunity. O-line wise, man, so many guys I respect in this craft. Bill Beadenbaugh with Oklahoma. That's O-line U. I have a lot of conversations with him. Had a chance to visit Oklahoma over the summer. Okay. Before I got the job with Arkansas, spent some time with him. Good dude, man. Great dude. Mike Cavanaugh, Arizona State. Old school O-line coach. That's my guy. Would love to go to war with him. Brad Davis, the LSU. That he was a beast. He was at Arkansas before I got the job down there, but heard nothing but raving reviews about him, man. There's so many in the O-line world that I'd like to have a chance to learn from and go to war with.
Sure. Well, hopefully you get to work with some or all those at some point if you want to.
Oh yeah. It's coming, man.